In December of 1928, in the mouth of the Agawa River, a man by the name of Lewy Coutu was checking his trap line for beaver and muskrat. And as he's checking one of the lines, something green bobbing in the slushy water catches his eye. He sets down his trap line, reaches in the slushy water, pulls it out, and it's a little green bottle. And as he holds it up to the sun, he can clearly see there's a note in it. So he takes the bottle, bites onto the cork, pops the cork out, and gently shakes the bottle until the note falls out onto the ground. And when he picks it up and reads it, he knows he's holding something very special in his hands. Something very valuable. Let's get into it. Now back in Sault Ste. Marie, about 90 miles away from the mouth of the Agawa River, Louis starts bragging about what he has. And the local paper, the Sioux Star, reaches out to Louis to do an interview on him about it. But Louis knows doing this, he would have to reveal the contents of this note. And he's not going to do it without getting paid. I mean, he's literally screaming, "I spent so much money in this town, it's time this town spent money on me." To give you an idea of who Louis was, we just have to look at his brother, Billy Coutu. Billy was a professional hockey player in the NHL, the only hockey player in NHL history to receive a lifetime ban for attacking the referee in 27. This is who Louis was. And with all of this going on, causing such a ruckus, it gets the attention of a freighter captain by the name of Herbert Bryan. And once Herbert hears this, he knows he has to get his hands on this note. Let's just say after some persuasive negotiations, he had that note in his hand. Now, about a year earlier, December of 1927, a young 23-year-old woman named Alice Bettridge found herself and 8 other crewmen stranded on 12 o'clock point on Isle Royale. Isle Royale is a massive inland island, and where they landed was nothing more than jagged rocks and frozen trees, because we're talking about negative 40-degree weather here. So chances of starting a fire were 0. Alice was part of a 22-man crew on the SS Kamloops that was attempting to make one final late-season run into Thunder Bay. But Lake Superior had other plans. They were battling waves larger than those that sunk the Edmund Fitzgerald. And as these waves crashed over the deck, they were instantly freezing. And the SS Kamloops became so top-heavy, she tipped and sank. Alice and 8 other crewmen were able to board an icy lifeboat and paddle their way to Isle Royale. And the next day, Alice was forced to watch as crewmate after crewmate would pass away from exposure. So Alice scribbled on a note, tucked it in a little green bottle, and chucked it into the icy waters of Lake Superior. You see, no one was really looking for the Kamloops at the time. She didn't have a radio, so the people at Thunder Bay knew the weather was bad, so they didn't even go out searching. They weren't even worried about the Kamloops at the time. But 6 days after the ship was due, so 8 days after she sank, that's when a search and rescue crew went out looking, and they didn't find anything. And as these tugboats are chugging through the icy water, there was nothing they could do, so they had to call off the search. 6 months later, in June of 1928, some local fishermen were fishing around 12 o'clock point when they would discover the body of Alice along with the 8 other men. And then, in 1977, in 270 feet of water, only 20 miles away from the port that was expecting them 50 years earlier, the ghost of the Great Lakes, the SS Kamloops, was found. Divers would describe the discovery of a crew member in the engine room that they nicknamed Old Whitey, because in those depths, it would turn your body into this wax-like substance. And whenever the water was disturbed, Old Whitey would float and appear to follow you, always standing guard of the engine room. That note that Lewy found, that drifted 150 miles from Isle Royale to the mouth of the Agawa, it was a note from Alice addressed to her parents, a simple note. I am the last one alive, freezing and starving to death on Isle Royale. I just want my mom and dad to know my fate. Al, who is dead. Al was her childhood nickname. Herbert was going to bring closure to a family even though he himself would never get any. His brother, William Bryan, was the captain of the SS Kamloops, who was never found. Or was he? A captain goes down with a ship, a law older than Gitchagumi herself. Is Old Whitey, who's still to this day standing a pale sentry, Captain Bryan? That's a secret the lake keeps for herself and for you to decide. Thank you for watching.